As if I didn't, it would be right. But we got no last for life. The greatest of all time. It might be hard for me to describe it. It walks like, talks like, feels like, it must be, and it smells like, looks like, tastes like, it must be, it sounds like all night. You know the way that it must be, and it talks like, walks like, feels like, it must be the one.
Hey, it must be right there. That's Eric Bonet and Indy Irene. Must be love on the morning. Wake up with Keith Scott. KROV FM, the heart and soul. Well, I told y'all he's gonna be in the building, man. From adversity to entrepreneurship, my dude Thug Gizzle is in the building. What's happening, bro?
Yo, 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 what's happening? What's happening,
Man, finally get you in the studio, bro.
Definitely.
How you been, man?
You know what, man? It's been a grind. Just grinding tough, man. Moving forward.
Yeah, bring that mic on down to you close to there, my brother.
There we go.
Let these listeners hear Thug Gizzle in the building.
There we go.
Man, what's been up, man? Bro, before our listeners, you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself. Man, I've been seeing you moving around, man. You was on a lot of cruise ships and, in the cabin. It's almost like you was driving these days, man.
I'm telling you, man.
Man, you've been on a mission, bro.
Most definitely, most definitely.
Let's talk about it, man. Tell our listeners a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm born and raised here in San Antonio, Texas. Aged out of the foster care system. Very early on, I went into the foster care system. Dating all the way back to infant.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, man. And so, I lived in a bunch of like over 25 different shelters and group homes.
Wow.
And then we found a foster home. Me and my three sisters. We ended up living with, shout out to rest in peace to my foster mom, Teresa Brown and Frankie Brown, so that's how I attended Justin High School, over in Converse.
Okay. Just like the tennis shoe.
Yeah, there you go.
No doubt, man. And, your story is interesting. It's always intriguing, man, when we see a young man grow up in the system or a young lady. It could be a male or a female. But, channel through adversity and strive to be an entrepreneur or just strive to be what God has called you to be and not labeled as society, being caught in the system.
Most definitely, man. I think anybody who comes from that, our whole goal is to, change it. We all got a story. Everybody got a story, right? Some of our stories may be a little darker, but we all are human. We all got a story. And I think cruising has shown that, head first, because, I'm visiting third world countries where there is no shelters and group homes and foster care. Those kids, when they're poor, they're really, really poor.
Yeah.
So it's humbling to cruise and not just go out there looking for fun. When I go on cruises, man, first of all, the first reason why I got on cruises is because I'm trying to partner my spring water with Carnival.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Starting with Carnival. I want to get them on all the cruise lines, but we're starting with Carnival. Okay. So when I go out there, sometimes I'll say, well, instead of doing these excursions, let's go to the deep parts of wherever we at. Let's say it's Honduras, right? I recently was out there and I went and visited the public schools, and, this is like, all the kids go to one public school and these are the impoverished, kids and stuff. And so when I go out there, man, I go talk to them and, man, I'll go give each kid $1. Like I visited a school that had 800 kids and 30 teachers. And I wanted to make sure that these kids were able to get what I was giving them in the hand, not just give it to the school and they spread it. Because what I learned over there is that $1 can get 6 like loaves of bread for their family.
Yes,
So
yeah, that dollar goes a long way.
a long way, man. And so it's a humbling situation. And going back to what we were saying, our whole goal is to break the cycle. You know, we grew up on welfare, and welfare can be a family generational thing, you know. So our whole goal is to break those cycles, you know, and be as transparent as we can with the youth that are coming behind us, so that they know that they're not limited to nothing. Because see, without breaking that cycle, I would have been limited to just becoming a product of my environment.
Well, that's what I was getting ready to say, because, Thug Gizzo, sometimes when you're dealing with that type of adversity, you do become a product of your environment.
Most definitely.
And it's a lot of people that don't get out. The battle is in the mind. And lots of times, people have been told so many different things in the mind that it's mindset.
Yes, sir.
And, man, you've overcome some obstacles. And that's why I found it intriguing. Even when Mike reached out to me years ago, you've been moving around. It's been kind of difficult to catch up with you, but I'm glad you caught up with me, in 2026.
Most definitely.
We were supposed to have this conversation a couple of years ago, but you've been moving around, and I respect that, man, because the hustle is real. You know what I mean?
Most definitely. And you know what? Always look at things God's timing, right?
For real.
We all want to do things that we want to do, but what I've learned, in my years is that, when we do it on God's time, it always ends up being the best timing.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with his timing.
Most definitely. And shout out to Mike Jackson over there at Idle Time, man. Great, amazing man. Me and Mike go back all the way to me living in the Baptist Children's Home.
Yeah.
So I lived in the Baptist Children's Home for a lot of years of my life. And real young, I think I might have been maybe elementary, man.
Wow.
Mike came over there, and it was relieving for me, man, because, out in that area, Highway 90 at the time, it was all just Hispanic, people. And so when Mike came, our interaction, when I seen him, I was like, man, I felt like relieved. I felt like, man, it's somebody that looks like me here.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll be good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so Mike has been a great, inspiration on my life. You know what I'm saying? To, see him grow even from then to now, and us to still have that relationship. That's pretty dope.
Yeah, he a good dude, man. One of the coldest. Got an eye for directing and just doing his thing. Michael J. Shout out to him. Idle Time Cinema, man. I want to come back and talk about how you ventured off with the water, too.
Yes, sir.
So let's do that. Thug Gizzle's in the building. KROV FM, the heart and soul. Don't y'all go nowhere. Keep it right here.
Even though I'm thinking you should know this, it could feel so good that you didn't notice that everything I do to keep you satisfied, living in something real, something in my mind. When you lose focus, take a promotion, you can move something, something yeah. You won't never be the same. I'm gonna be right back again. You're not playing the same way. Close off and never be the same. Come on. Let's jump on feeling that again. You both don't touch you. Never define yourself. Ooh, so looking over at the finish line, running up to something that was never mine. Had enough to know that everything's all gone.
Who's that? Who's that? That's you? Oh, okay. Cartoon style. Bring that color to water. You know what I mean? No, that's a good packaging right there.
Yeah.
Solid.
Same cans as Budweiser now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Oh, definitely.
You don't know this. Don't act like you don't know this. Don't act like you don't know this. So it's a corner again. It will never be the same. We will be right back again. We're not playing the same. And it will never be the same at all.
Hey, that's Keithion right there. Never be the same, man. That's his hot new track off his LP. Right here on the morning, wake up with Keith Scott, KROV FM, the heart and soul of San Antonio. And I'm going to let Q play in the background, man. We got my dude in the building.
What up? What up?
Doug
What up?
Gizzle's in the building, y'all.
Go.
He
Let's
bought
go.
the water in the building, man. I'm
Go.
thirsty too.
Yeah.
Got this Appalachian water in the building. Hey, man, let's talk about this water, bro.
Okay. Okay.
Because not a lot of us on the water bottles, bro.
Right. Right, man.
That's real talk, man.
Yeah,
you know,
man.
and love the packaging, bro.
Most definitely, man. The way this came through is because, man, God spoke to me years ago, and I transitioned from drinking a lot of soda and juice. In the Black community, we have hypertension, all kind of things that come from a lot of sugar that's bad on us. So God had me start drinking nothing but water years ago. So all I drink is water. I don't drink nothing but water. Okay,
that's it.
And so I got a vision in 2021 to put out a water, but I didn't know what direction I wanted to go. So I know God led me to it because when I first dropped my water, I dropped it in plastic bottles.
Okay.
But I already had it ordered in aluminum. That's what I'm trying to get people to understand, man. We do things our way, but then God has a way He wants us to do it.
Of course.
So God had already said, "Look, this is the way I want you to do it." But see, I was thinking like, man, I need to, deal with somebody local, so that way they don't feel like I'm stepping on their toes. Because when us hip hop artists do things, they can be looked at as a fab, right? And I really meant this. So I went over to a local guy and I put out plastic bottles.
Okay.
And went straight to the east side because I was like, man, I want my people, to get this first.
Yeah.
Well, that deal didn't fall through like it was supposed to, but I already had my aluminum ordered anyway.
Okay.
So when the aluminum got here, it really made the impact because God is going to be the impact. You know what I mean?
Of course.
So what I did was I sustainably sourced my water in the Appalachian Mountains of Georgia. So we bottle in Tiger, Georgia. And we ship from Tiger, Georgia to Texas and multiple areas. We could ship in all over the United States, okay? But we took it further. And the reason why I went out of state to do it, because this was the only place that I can find where I can put spring water in aluminum cans that were BPA free and reusable, recyclable.
Right.
And as you see by picking up that can, that's real aluminum.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
When you pick it up, you can feel it.
Yeah. So, what we want to do is not just put out great water, because sustainable water, sustainable sources, we teach the youth and people about this, how important it is. It's different than a reverse osmosis. Our water source will never go nowhere because it's all provided by rain. We receive over 65 inches of rainfall a year on average, okay? And taking it a step further, environmental friendly, teaching reduce, reuse, recycle.
Yeah.
So that's why I wanted to put them in those aluminum cans that are BPA free, because people can see that with BPA free cans, the water never touches the aluminum. So you're not getting nothing poisoning that would come from aluminum. You're getting fresh spring water that is not touched by that aluminum can. And so that's why that water is the best. It's the freshest. When you go look at our reviews, we have thousands of reviews, real people right here in this city, telling you this is the best water I ever had. Because a lot of water companies bottle locally for reduced pricing.
Yeah.
But I was like, man, God, I'm gonna stick it out because you know better than me. And that goes back to what I'm saying is our plan and God's plan, right? And so God, he planned this out the way it is. And man, it's been great. I've been able to bring, color to water. So now water, it doesn't look boring. And I mean, if you want to know the influence of Thug is with water, go look at all of the water in HEB right now. Now they look like me.
Isn't that something?
They're in cans. They're colorful, and shout out to Cascadia Managing Brands, man. Bill Sipper over there, he told me, he said, man, look, you're gonna be the biggest thing that ever happened to water. We've never seen nobody come into water and do what you've done. They were actually partners in my company, for a little bit, but that didn't go out, the way it needed to go out. Equity reasons, we try to remain at least 51% ownership as Black people, so that way we can get the benefits we need, because beverage business is hard, man. It's
It ain't easy.
you gotta have it's I'm competing against companies with millions of dollars. But what I have is I have God, man, and all you need is faith of a mustard seed. You get what I'm saying? So I go out here, faith first, man. We done got into over 100+ stores easy. I became a partner with the Hyatt, so my water is down at the Hyatt in the showrooms, and I think that those are major accomplishments, and complement what God does, right? Because without no distribution, you know what I mean? Like we're getting into all these stores, and shout out to Silver Eagle. Silver Eagle has already told me, hey man, you get into major retail, we're gonna back. So that's the whole goal right now for Thug is a Water, is to break into, like a Quick Trip, a HEB.
Yeah, ain't nothing too hard for God.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Nothing too hard for him. The brand is there, the water is there, the packaging.
Most definitely.
You just need to get on the shelf. That's it.
Most definitely. Definitely, brother. And like I said, it's a blessing, man. If you haven't tried Thug is a Water, man, there are stores around that are carrying them. They don't tell me anymore because I'm a guerrilla marketer. So when I find out my water in stores, I'm gonna go shoot a video. I want everybody to know it's there.
Yeah, no doubt.
Unfortunately, we can't go to every single store, right? But they're out there, man. And if you see them, support it. Because it's not just good water; it's a great cause.
Yeah, no doubt, man. And I remember this conversation we had years ago, probably 22, somewhere in there. Here we are 4 years later, man. You still at it,
Yes, sir. Yes,
and
sir.
I want to come just wrap up with you. And, you got something going on at Six Flags, too.
Oh, man. So, look, March.
We're going to talk about that.
Okay.
We're going to come back and talk about that. We're going to wrap up the show with you, Thug Gizzard.
Okay.
Keep it right here on the morning. Wake up. Keith Scott, KROV FM, the heart and soul.
Oh, yes.
Hey, that's Eric Roper sitting right there with the BJ Chicago Kid. Got to know where you're going. Hey, on the board to wake up. KROV FM, the heart and soul of San Antonio. Thug Gizzle's in the building.
Yes, sir.
And man, you got a lot going on. You got something going on with the kids, with the books,
Yes, sir.
and the reading,
Yes, sir.
and being out to one of our parks too, also.
Oh, yes, sir.
And let's pull up that information because I want my listeners to know exactly what you're doing, man, because let's talk about the reading. Thug Gizzle with the kids.
So Thug Gizzle reads the kids on YouTube, okay? I started this about 5 or 6 years ago now, and, it has majorly expanded. So what I do is I read the kids on that YouTube channel. I teach them sight words, and we have an animated show called Little Philip, which has become the highlight. So Little Philip was brought to me by a partner of mine by the name of Terrence Williams, aka Chief. It's been amazing. He told me, he said, you know what? God told me to bring this to you. I've been watching everything you've been doing over the years, man, because we've been talking since I've been out there on tour, touring with the big names and stuff like that. I think I was out in Atlanta talking to him almost every day,
Yeah.
And so years later, he comes, I think like last June, July, and he was like, look, I got this idea I put together. I just need your blessing, your permission, because it's my IP, intellectual property. I was like, man, I'm with it. When I saw what he had going on with it, I said, man, that's perfect, because Little Philip is a positive character. It's me when I was a child going through the foster care system. And what Little Philip shows is that God has always been there. Because a lot of us could feel like, man, life's so hard. We're going through so much. Where is God?
Yeah.
Well, everything that Little Philip goes through, it shows how God has been there the whole time. And so we have finished up 3 seasons of Little Philip, man, 30 episodes on YouTube right now.
That's what's up.
And we also have 25 children albums on every streaming platform under Thug Gizzle Reads the Kids, okay? And it's amazing. We have a song for every single episode.
Yeah.
So we call them the soundtracks for Little Philip, and so I recently spoke with KLRN, and things are looking very well for us to partner and take Little Philip to the next level. I'm also in talks with what is it called? That's over the schools, Texas TEA.
Okay.
So
with the school system.
Yeah. So we're working on getting Little Philip a digital curriculum to go through the schools.
Okay.
Shout out to Charity, man. She's an amazing Black woman here in the city. She's not even from here, man, but you would think she's from here with all the great work that she's doing and working on, man. I mean, this woman is so amazing. At that Martin Luther King march, she hand put together packages with Martin Luther King information and curriculums to help kids and people learn about Martin Luther King's Day. And I was like, man, you're amazing. So
yeah, that's good.
Man, we had lunch together, and we're right now partnering, and she's working on a book for us and a digital curriculum. Shout out to Charity. I think it's Chriswell, her last name. I don't want to mispronounce it enough, but she's amazing. Y'all will see more of her with us real soon. So yeah, man, Thug Gizzle Reads the Kids on YouTube, and like I said, we have over 25 albums of kid music. The Every Little Philip album is faith-based.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the other albums are just learning songs, like, Cover Your Mouth, teaching them the ABCs. I mean, it's just so dope with what God is doing over here,
Yeah, that's what's up, man.
Most definitely.
Well, I just want to wrap up on March 14th, right into the party.
Yeah.
with Thug Gizzle at Six Flags Fiesta.
Yo, shout out to my guy Prime, man. You know, Prime is, you know, he's the CEO over there at Melanin Coaster Network. So 3 years ago, I saw them going around the whole United States riding roller coasters. These are black roller coaster riders. And I was like, man, that is dope. And so I reached out to Prime Jr. and I was like, yo, man, we got to bring that to San Antonio because we got the biggest Martin Luther King March. So why not start this movement here?
Yeah.
So this will be our 3rd annual event at Six Flags Fiesta, Texas. We go out there, we lock down that park. Shout out to Jeffrey, who's the CEO, president over there at Six Flags.
Yeah.
Man, he treats us well. We lock down the park. We go around that park hype. I mean, we hitting every roller coaster together. That's
what's up.
We getting people to ride with us and join. Yeah. Man, look, if y'all are here in San Antonio, look up Melanin Coaster Network. Come join us March 14th. We'll be out there at about 9:30 a.m. And this is the dopest part of it. When the park closed, it don't close for us. We are riding roller coasters at night after park hours. I mean, VIP all the way.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
What time does it start?
So I would tell everybody get out there 9:30. The park open at 10, a.m. So get out there at least about 30 minutes early so you can connect with us. You know, we group together and man, we celebrate. Melanin Coaster Network in San Antonio, Texas. I'm grateful for Prime Jr. for believing in me, telling them, yo, bring this to this city because we're gonna make an impact. And it is, man. You'll see on March 14th. So many people flying in from all over the United States to ride roller coasters with your boy Thug Gizzle, man.
Yeah, that's going to be all the way live, man. I'm going to keep letting my listeners know all the way up till March 14th, man. You can get out there and ride into the party at Six Flags Fiesta with Thug Gizzle, March 14th.
And real quick before we go, man, let me give you your flowers. You know what I'm saying? Keith, you are doing your thing, man. Look, having a syndicated show. I don't care if it's jazz, whatever, man. You know what? That is amazing, man.
Appreciate it, my brother.
You're a black man, you're a strong man, and you be on the grind too. So I want to give you yours too. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate it, bro.
It's amazing what you're doing over here, and I'm grateful that you have me on the show.
Yeah, iron sharpen iron, my brother.
There you go, brother.
No doubt, man. I'm proud of you. Keep up the work. Keep us informed with what Thug Gizzle is doing with the kids in the reading. And let's have another conversation. It's early in the year.
Yes, sir.
And I'm going to try to get out to this park, man.
Man, it'll be amazing.
My wife let her ride. I just sit back and watch. I don't get on no roller coasters.
And you know what?
It sounds like a lot of fun.
And you know what? There are some people that come, just to meet and connect and network.
I'm one of those people, man. Just to watch people have fun and laugh. All of that is amazing to me to be out there. I'm definitely gonna try to bring the wifey out there and come and support.
We're gonna get Brother Keith on that rap. You know what I mean?
Hey, how can they get connected with Thug Gizzle, bro?
You can connect with us. IamThugGizzle.com. That is my music entrepreneur website, and then my nonprofit is Thug Gizzle Cares Inc. We've been a nonprofit organization, 501c3 tax exempt. With no overhead, okay, since 2012, okay, and the website for that is thuggizzlecares.org.
Yeah, no doubt. Thug Gizzle, keep doing what you're doing, my brother. About to get up out of here. KROV FM, the heart and soul of San Antonio. Thanks for being on. Blessings to you,
Thank you, brother. Blessings to you, too.
No doubt.
All right.
Let's have your feet take a couple photos of us.
For sure.
Got a whole
Appreciate y'all for tuning in, man.